So hi again. As I mentioned in my earlier video, I thought I might show you how I make this one sweet. In the cookbook that I have, they're called chickies, but my friend Nirmala always called them til laddu. I think the difference is til laddu is more like a strictly sugar sesame seed confection, whereas this has a little bit of some whole wheat flour in it too, and some butter. So I'll show you the ingredients. I've got my khichdi going here in the crock pot. It hasn't actually started boiling yet, but it has the moong dal and the basmati rice with a little bit of turmeric and some freshly grated ginger. I'll put a little bit of salt in it as soon as it starts to bubble a little bit, and then later I'll do a spice mix in there. But for the chickies themselves, this is like my very first Indian cookbook, or maybe my second, called Flavors of India. Look at my shadow there. This is a better angle. It's got some really nice recipes. They're actually very simple recipes, which most of my Indian cooking, or the style that I do, is very simple. But this is the recipe for the chickies, and you need 1 cup of sesame seeds, a 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour. It calls for 4 tablespoons of melted ghee or clarified butter. I cheat. I just use regular butter or unsalted butter. I haven't found it to make a huge difference in this particular item. And it also calls for 1/2 cup of brown sugar, but I like to use honey. It ends up being a little bit more of a softer confection, but I like it that way rather than having something that, you know, I'm going to break my teeth on. And then a couple tablespoons of water. So the first thing you do here is roast the sesame seeds. I like to use a nice, well-seasoned cast iron skillet for this. And it says to go about 5 minutes while roasting this. You'll be able to tell when it gets to about the right level of roastiness, because you'll be able to smell it and see the seeds change color just a little bit. Now you'll be able to tell when it starts to roast. You'll see there might be a little bit of smoking in the pan. You'll see some of the seeds change color a little bit. You'll be able to smell that they're roasting. But also, you can't hear it right now, you'll also start to hear the seeds pop a little bit, like little tiny popcorn kernels popping. And you can also see that some of the seeds are releasing some of their oils as well. But let's see if you can hear these pop a little bit. See that? I don't know if you got that, but you can hear those little tick tick. I have my fan going. This is starting to smoke a little bit. So as soon as these are roasted, maybe another 10 or 15 seconds, I am going to take this pan and empty them onto a big plate. Okay, so my pan's emptied out, and now I'm going to take just about 1 tablespoon of the butter. I mean, if you've got ghee or clarified butter, by all means use it. But I don't have any right now. It's been a while since I've made ghee. I was making it for a while when I lived in Arizona, but I haven't made any since I've been living. Well, I might have made some. I mean, we've been here for 13 years. I must have made ghee in the past 13 years. So anyway, you take about a tablespoon of the butter and you let it melt. Obviously, if you've got ghee or already, melted clarified butter, you already got it there. And you empty in your flour. And basically all you do is mix all the flour with the butter, the ghee, whatever you're using, and turn my heat down. And you let the You let the flour basically roast. And just like the sesame seeds, oops, you'll see that the flour will start to change color a little bit, and you'll also be able to smell a little bit of a nutty, roasty smell from it. Butter and flour smell so good together. Don't you love it when you're cooking, just to smell everything? It's just so good. Now this calls for whole wheat flour, but I'm thinking to myself, you know, if somebody had like a gluten intolerance or something like that, you probably could use something like either a rice flour. I'm sure you could use a rice flour, but you might even be able to use a buckwheat flour with it. And I love buckwheat, as you may have noticed in my blini video. So this is getting almost done, and when this is done, this will also go on the plate with the roasted sesame seeds. So the flour is now on the same pan with the sesame seeds. Now you put in the rest of your butter or ghee, and you let that melt. And then you're going to put in your brown sugar. If you're using brown sugar, I am using honey. And you'll let these cook together for a little bit. Yes, I did lick off the spoon from the honey. Can't let it go to waste. I love my honey. This is going to be basically like the glue that holds it all together. The sugars and the fat. And you have your temperature fairly low for this. Okay, now that the honey and the butter are thoroughly combined in here, we add the 2 tablespoons of water, and we're going to let this cook into a syrup. So it'll take a few minutes for this to simmer and be ready for the rest of the ingredients to go back in. Okay, so this is at a syrupy kind of stage here, and I'm going to put the flour and sesame seeds back in, and you mix it all up, and it will become a very thick, sticky, hot mass. But you want to get the flour entirely mixed in here, and you'll see that in a little bit, and you can already start to see how it's sticking together, pulling from the pan as it bubbles. So we'll only do this for another minute or so, and then this is all going to go out on a plate, back on the plate, to cool. There. So my heat's off, and I'm just going to just go onto the plate here. So that's still left in the pan. Now you could butter your plate. I actually, it doesn't stick too badly, surprisingly. But there's a couple ways you can do this. You can just spread it out, and in whatever kind of pan, and you can let it. You can just let it cool in a pan and then cut it. But I do like to make the little laddu out of it. So I'm going to let it cool there for just a couple minutes here so that I don't like horribly burn my hands on it. Alrighty, so it's cool enough now. I would say, you know, you could butter your hands if you want to. It's still a little hot, but there's actually plenty of butter in this sweet already, so that you know your hands will be well lubricated. So I tend to, if I'm in a hurry, I'll tend to you know, take it from the edges. So, because it's a little bit cooler there, still pretty hot. So I don't know, you get, this recipe actually says, let me see, 8 to 10. I always get way more than 8 to 10 laddu from here. It'll be, you know, I don't know, more like 15 or 20. And these are great with tea. I think they would be really good with green tea. I love the roasty sesame flavor, and it's got, you know, the little bit of whole wheat flour. My daughter laughs at me because I like even my sweets to have some nutritional, you know, redeeming quality to them. So the whole wheat flour, you know, gives you a little bit of the, you know, good complex carbohydrate, and then obviously the sesame is a good protein source, and honey is just wonderful. I love honey. So that's it. That's how you make til laddu, or sesame seeds. If you want to sort of note the South Asian Harvest Festival, or the return to the sun in Capricorn, the return of the sun in general. This is kind of a fun thing to do. So we'll have these for dessert. We'll have our khichdi, probably with some maybe aloo gobi of some sort, something like that. People are going to be ending up at home at random times tonight. So this is all good food that can be standing and waiting. Although I must admit, as soon as these chickies cool, I think I may make a cup of green tea and have one as a reward. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's an easy recipe. I will put the ingredients down below. Very simple, very easy to do. Just, you know, don't burn your hands. And don't burn the seeds or the flour. I'm sure you won't have any trouble with any of that. So have a great Friday, everyone. Hopefully I can do more of these cooking type videos. All right, take it easy. Bye.